Pastor, a student of Master of Information Systems at the University of the Philippines Open University. For today, I will be demonstrating my final project for CMSC 207, that's Web Programming and Development. The project is to develop a simple web-based system that will contain account information of the employees and the administrator so that the employees will be able to access his or her project fee and honoraria related record. So let's start our demonstration. You have to open a new tab and type in www.emillawrence89.pythost11.com. So this will be the login page of the application. The login page is where the user will input their respective username and password. So I'm gonna type in a dummy username and password. So after entering the username and password, the user will need to press the login button to validate the credentials. After the web server validates the credential, the page will either redirect the user to the employee web page if the user has user or employee role, or redirect the user to the administrator web page if the user has an administrator role. Otherwise, it will prompt the user of incorrect username and password. So if we press the login button, so it prompts us that the invalid username or password has been specified by the user. So after demonstrating the user prompt when entering incorrect username and password, let's try entering a valid administrator credential name. I will type in my administrator username and password and press the login button. So after pressing the login button, it will redirect you to the administrator welcome page. So this page contains the menu at the top as well as welcome note along with your name. So pressing the logo will redirect you to the same admin welcome page, so as pressing the home button. On the next video, I'll be demonstrating the functionalities of each of the menu and which menu is present under the user role and the administrator role. This is the menu of the web application. It has 4 main buttons: the home button, the admin drop-down menu, the user drop-down menu, and the logout button. Pressing the home button will redirect you to the employee web page if you have an employee role, or to the administrator page if you have an administrator role. Admin drop-down menu is exclusive for user who has administrative privileges, while user menu is present for both administrator and employee role. Logout is pressed if you want to exit the application. So let's go to the admin drop-down menu. Within admin drop-down menu, it has 2 main parts: the employee profile and the deposit transaction records. Within an employee profile, it allows you to create a new employee profile and assign a privileges if you press add employee profile. Update an employee profile or deactivate an existing employee profile for update employee profile page. And generate a report based on the selection criteria under the employee profile report. So if you want to add new transaction records for an existing employee, you need to use add deposit entry. While if you want to modify or invalidate an existing deposit transaction, you can use the update deposit entry page. Or if you want to create a summary report based on the transaction present in the web application, you can use the deposit entry report. Okay, so let's go now to the user drop-down menu. So within the user drop-down menu, it has three main parts. The My Profile, which displays the current user profile information. The Change Password, which allows the user to change his or her password. And the My Report page, which allows the user to generate a report of his or her transaction based on a specific reporting month or for all available valid transactions in the system. Okay, let's go to the main functions of the web-based application. So the first functionality is to be able to add an employee profile page. So we go to the admin drop-down menu, press the Add Employee Profile. So it will redirect you to the Add Employee Profile page, which allows you to add an employee profile. So the ones with asterisks, these are all the mandatory fields that the administrator needs to enter when creating a profile. So you need to enter the employee number, the first name, the middle initial that has a maximum of 2 characters only, the employee's last name, the username, which must be 5 to 20 characters in length and must only contain alphabet, number, and underscore, otherwise it will prompt an error. And of course, the password. Password must be 8 to 12 characters in length. It must have at least one number and one uppercase letter. And of course, the role. So you have the admin access. So if you tick this, this will give the newly created employee profile and administrative privileges to the application. So if you uncheck this, the user would just be an ordinary user. While the enable user is if you want to enable or disable the login access of the user. This will effectively deactivate the user as well, which I'll demonstrate later. So let's try entering an existing employee number and see what it will prompt you. So after entering all the credentials, you need to press Add User Entry. So this will prompt you the following error, that the employee number 1 exists for Emil, Laurence, Pastor. So meaning this employee number already exists and you cannot use the same employee number or employee ID. The second one is the username already exists. You have to choose a different username. So let's try creating a new one. Call employee 8989. Name test. Name, middle initial, okay, let's just change it. And let's give the user an admin access web page and press Add User Entry. So once the profile has been successfully uploaded to the server, it will prompt you of a success information that the employee profile for Juan de la Cruz, employee number 8989 with username Juan_DC, has been added successfully. So this is the add employee functionality of. So after demonstrating how to add an employee profile, let's now try update an existing employee profile. We go to the admin drop-down menu, press update employee profile. So for us to update an employee profile, you must know the employee number or employee ID that you want to update. Let's take, for example, my employee ID. I'm employee or the employee ID that we just created. Employee number 8989 and press search. So after pressing search, the application will provide you the current information available in the system. Like Juan, is the username, and then the middle initial as well as the last name. So you can change anything that you want. For example, instead of Juan, for example, the administrator mistype it. It should be Pedro. What you'll do is you press the update user entry once you're done with all of your updates. And then presto, employee profile was updated successfully. Also, for example, if an employee is leaving the organization, so we want to keep all the records intact in our system. That's why we don't do physical delete. So what administrator needs to do is to instead disable the user by unticking the enable user checkbox. So unticking this will prevent the user from logging in the system anymore. How about updating my own user? So I'm employee number 1. So if the current logged in user is trying to update his or her employee profile, you'll notice that the admin access and the enable user access is disabled. Because unticking this will prevent you from performing administrative function as well as logging to the system itself. That's why this one will always be unticked. This one will always be disabled. So this is the update profile page. Okay, let's go now to the generation of the employee profile report. For us to go to the report generator, you have to go to the admin drop-down menu and press employee profile report. So this page is for the administrator to be able to create a report about the current profiles inside the database or the system based on username, last name, administrative access, and user type. So for username, the administrator does not need to enter the full username. A part of the username will do. Same thing with the last name. Whilst for the admin access, it allows you to view all the profiles if you press all, regardless of the administrative privileges, or view the current list of users with administrative privileges only if you press admin only, and otherwise if you press user only. For the user type, this will provide you all the list of the employee profile page or employee users if you choose all, while if you're only interested to know about the active profiles, you need to choose active only, or if you want to look for the deactivated users, you need to press or choose inactive only. So let's try generating report. For example, username that has JU, and then let's keep the last name blank. Keeping the last name blank means we allow all the possible last name as part of the selection criteria. And then we press admin only and press all for the user type. So we press generate report. So this will prompt you how many records has been generated. So there is only one employee profile applicable based on our selection criteria, and that's employee ID 8989. Let's try other report. For example, employee that has PAS on its last name, a user only, and inactive user. So we have one existing report or one existing employee profile in the system. How about pressing all, and then last name is Q or has character Q. So it will also prompt you if no employee is found based on your selection criteria. So maybe you need to revisit your selection criteria. After demonstrating all the employee-related functionalities of the application, like adding an employee, updating or deactivating an employee, or generation of employee profile report, we now go to the deposit transaction records. So we go to the drop-down menu, and then under deposit transaction records, these are all the functionalities available for us to add, edit, invalidate, or generate a deposit entry report. So let's try adding a deposit entry. So this page is where the administrator can enter a deposit record for an existing employee. And all fields marked with an asterisk are the mandatory fields. By default, the valid transaction will always be checked. So I'll explain later when we update what's the purpose of valid transaction. So it has mandatory, basically all the fields in the deposit details are mandatory, like the employee number, disbursement voucher number, description, amount in PHP, deposit date, and bank account number. So please take note that the employee number must be an existing employee profile in the system before you can enter a transaction, otherwise it will prompt an error. So for example, we enter employee number 1024, disbursement voucher number 1, test transaction. For the description, amount is 1,000 pesos. Then you need to choose the deposit date. For example, today, the bank account number 1,112, and try pressing add deposit entry for it to be processed by the system. So after entering, it prompts you the user the following error, like the employee 1024 does not exist. So you can please create a profile and add user entry. So if you press this, it will redirect you to the add user entry page for you to create its employee profile. And it also prompts the user that the disbursement voucher number 1 already exists. So please take note that the disbursement voucher number should be unique in the system. Okay, let's try entering employee number 8989 for Juan de la Cruz or Pedro de la Cruz, and then voucher number 8989 as well. This is for Pedro's honoraria. For example, 10,000. Deposit date is 2015-02-29. Bank account number 1009. So when we press add deposit entry, it says invalid value for day. Because you notice that there's no February 29 in 2015, so probably the user mistyped it. So we just change the date to April 29 instead and press add deposit entry. Oops, the disbursement voucher 8989 already exists. Let's try 1990. This is Pedro's Noraria. Press April 29, background number 1009. And here it is. It already uploads the deposit transaction successfully for disbursement voucher number 99090 for employee number 8989 amounting to 10,222. So this is how to add a record in the system, a deposit entry record in the system. Okay, let's try updating an existing transaction records in the system. So we go to the admin drop-down menu and press update deposit entry. So for us to be able to update an existing transaction, you need to know the disbursement voucher number. So let's try updating the disbursement voucher number that we created a while ago. That's 9090 and press search. After pressing search, it will give you the current deposit transaction information that you can edit. So if you want to invalidate a transaction, you just need to press this. For example, they suddenly cancel this disbursement voucher number and you don't want for the user to see or for it to be reported under the user's My Personal Report page, you just need to uncheck this. For example, we incorrectly entered 10,022. It's supposed to be 11,222. We just need to enter the amount and then press update deposit entry. After updating the deposit entry, it will prompt you that it successfully updated the information for transaction disbursement voucher number 9090. So this is how the update deposit entry functionality works. So this is an administrative privilege wherein you can view all the possible transactions inside the system. So for us to do that, you need to go to the admin drop-down menu and press deposit entry report. So within deposit entry report, you have the following selection criteria like the start date, end date, employee number, transaction type. Again, you don't need to enter for the employee number, you don't need to enter the exact employee number. You just need to enter at least a part of the employee number for you to generate a report. And then for start date, if you want to cover a certain period, transaction period, you just need to enter a start date. Like for example, May 1st till May 24th. So this will cover all transactions that happened from 1st of May to 24th of May. But for example, if you leave the end date blank, what happened is it will only be restricted to the all transactions that happened on the 1st of May. Same thing when you press when you leave the start date blank, it will do the same thing, that it will only filter transactions from 24th of May. If you keep both blank, it will cover all the existing deposit entry dates, so it will not filter anything. Then for the transaction type, okay, let's bring the start date back. So if you're only after the valid transaction, you need to choose valid only. Same thing if you only want transactions that were invalidated before, you need to press invalid only. But let's try capturing everything from the whole month of May to date and press generate report. Pressing the generate report will prompt you if the report has been generated successfully, how many transactions and how many employees were involved, or does have a transaction related record for the range, date range selected, as well as the total amount. So it will give you a summary as well as the list of the employee and the description. Let's take, for example, let's change our selection criteria to end of February. Generate report. If no transaction has been found, it will also prompt you. Maybe you need to check your selection criteria. How about we don't consider any dates and we just after the invalid transaction. So there were two reports or two transactions that is invalid at the moment for two employees amounting to 12,346. How about if we want all transactions for, we don't know the exact number. For example, employee that has an employee number that has 9 on its employee number. So there's only one, that's employee ID 8989. This is the exact transaction that we had entered a while ago and updated as well. So again, this is the generate deposit entry report. It allows you to have a holistic view of the current transaction records in the system. Okay, after demonstrating the generate deposit entry report page, we now go to the user drop-down menu. It has, as mentioned, it has 3 main functionalities. One is to view your profile, change your password, and generate your personal report. But I think it would be better to do it on using the other user. So I'm gonna log out. So it will prompt you if you have successfully logged out. And then enter a new user. Okay, we now enter the username and password for an employee role. So let's try Emil Pastor and then enter the password, press login. So this is the employee welcome page. So this is the home page for a normal user after they have successfully pressed and logged in and successfully validated by the system. As you can see, there's no admin drop-down menu. It only has a home button, a user drop-down menu, and a logout. And within the user drop-down menu, it still has the My Profile, Change Password, and My Report. So this is the employee welcome page. So we go first to the My Profile web page. We go to the user menu, press My Profile. So my profile displays the current information or current snapshot of information available in the system. So as you can see, the user credential that I used is employee number 89 with first name Test Emil, middle initial E, last name is Pastor, username is Emil Pastor, and it does not have an admin access, but it is an currently active user. So this is the My Profile page. Okay, so if the user wants to change his or her password, you have to go to the user drop-down menu and press change the password. In the change the password, you have to supply the current password, the new password, and confirm the new password. And then press submit button afterwards. So if, for example, we want to use the same password, same current password to the new password, let's see what the system will prompt you. And press submit button. So it prompts you an error that the current password and the new password is the same, and you have to enter a new password. So let's try entering a new password. Oops, it prompts you an error that the password must contain at least one number from 0 to 9. So we change it again. And press submit. Afterwards, it will prompt you that the password has been successfully updated. So for us to demonstrate that it has been successfully updated, we log out and enter the new password. And press login button. And that's how you change your current password to the new password. One of the last main functionality of this application is for the user, the currently logged in user, to be able to generate his or her own personal report. So for us to do that, you need to go to the user drop-down menu and press My Report. So within My Report, it allows you to generate all your transactions within a reporting month, or if you left this date field blank, it will give you all the possible transactions related to you. So for example, we left this blank and press generate report. As you can see, the employee number does not have transactions for this reporting month. So you don't have any transactions in the system. So let's try logging in using a different employee. And press the login button. Oops. And go to the My Report and generate the report. So the user will be prompted that the report has been generated successfully, the number of transactions, and the total amount. And it also has the summary below. But if you're only after a specific month, for example, you're only after the May 2015, just press May 2015, or sorry, May 2015, and press generate report. So it will provide you all your transactions for the month of May. How about transactions for the month of January? Press generate report. It will also prompt you if you don't have any existing transactions. So this is the My Personal Deposit Report page. I also want to discuss the responsive UIs available in the website. So if we log in, and try minimizing the screen size. So as you can see, it can change. So this is the sort of the mobile version of the web application that I created. So you can see these are the drop down menus still available. Then one interesting thing is, if you generate a report, as you can see, only the disbursement voucher number, the deposit date, and the amount is available in your My Personal report. While when you expand it, the details are also expanded into description as well as the bank account number. So same thing with the generate employee report. So the screen background changes from the desktop size background to the mobile version background. So this is the additional feature that I created. So that covers the demonstration of the web-based application for the payroll deposit system that I created. I hope you learned something from me. And then for any questions, please free to email me at emil_laurence@yahoo.com, and I'm very welcome to answer all your queries. Thank you.